What's up, guys? CryptoSavy here. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day, and welcome to the channel where you subscribe for daily updates on Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and during the week we take a look at Dow Jones, which we will do at the end of the video. Definitely stick around, and don't forget there's a free Discord group in the description below the video. Definitely check it out. It's an awesome community, guys, and let's get on with it. All right, guys, as always, this is not financial advice, trading advice, investment advice, none of that. There's a disclaimer scrolling on the bottom, and always remember this is my opinion, not yours. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave your comments down below. Really helps the channel out, and I do appreciate it, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you for all the support you guys have been giving me. And let's look at the Bitcoin news for the headlines and kind of get a feel for the sentiment as usual. Cryptocurrency market jumps by over 13 billion. Driven by, they're saying, Paul Tudor's announcement that he invested in Bitcoin. Get set for Bitcoin halving. Here's what it means. Perfect wedge makes $1 million Bitcoin more likely than ever. New Bitcoin bull market signal. Bitcoin bear whale vanishes as BTC hits 10,000. Bitcoin flirts with 10,000 as crypto extends gains. Bitcoin hits 10,000. More about Paul Tudor. 9 reasons why Bitcoin has never been stronger going into a halving. Super bullish news. And the fear and greed index, we are at 55. Raised 6 points from yesterday. We are at 49. We are in the greed now. And I wanted to point out yesterday's video, I had put 10,180 or 7,550 next. And it does look like we almost hit the 10,180. Are we going to hit it today? Definitely possible. If that breaks, where are we headed? We'll talk about that. We're going to take a look at the monthly real quick. And the 55 EMA on the monthly is currently sitting around $5,000, 50, depending. I mean, obviously, it will raise up as coming down. But as of right now, it's around the $5,100 to $5,200 range. And we have these two lines here at 93.40 and 85.57. It'll be very interesting to see where the monthly closes. If we close back inside here, above or below. If we close above or below, that'll be a sign of which direction we are heading in the longer term. Don't forget to check out my wife's webpage, inkYourImage.com. There is a link in the description with all my other affiliate links down there. Definitely check it out. She's got a lot of cool stuff in here. You can put any crypto, any saying, anything you want on any of this stuff. Hit her up in the contact if you have any questions. And let's look at Bitcoin on the weekly. Now, what we've been watching here, obviously these red targets here are worst case scenarios. And the first one at 28.45 being a trend line from back in 2016. Possibility of coming back to retest that. Little less likely, but I do want to let you guys know it is possible. I know there's a lot of hype right now. And looking at this in the yellow, the falling broadening wedge, if we were to come back and test that, that could be as low as 1,000. We're going to take a look at the RSI too that we've been watching, but let's take a look at what we've been talking about on this falling broadening wedge here that we have broken out of. And obviously everybody's extremely bullish as of now. There is this top trend line, the thick white line, blue line. Like you guys, most of you know, I'm colorblind. But anyways, this thick line right here, around 10.5, which would be both our rejection areas back here, is where we would hit that. If we break through this, then it's time to get super bullish, in my opinion. But it does look to me like we are due for a pullback of some sort. Now let's look at the measured move from breaking out of this wedge. And this is only if we were able to break the 10.5, and that's about the $16,000 range. And if we close a daily, or more preferably a weekly, outside of this top trend line, the target after that, guys, would be around $29,200 range. If we were to break out this week, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, I'm still bearish. I still think we're going to come down to around at least the at least a $6,000 level. We'll talk about that, and I'll kind of look at it where I think it might be headed. We also have this target down here around 4,600, which is this yellow trend line where we touched back here at 3,000. Then our 2018 low at 3153. And then we dipped a little past it in this last capitulation we had back in March. But if we come back test that again, it's going to be around the 45 to 4,600. We'll see what happens there. We're going to take a look at, we're going to take a look at the RSI. We've been talking about this for quite some time. We were in this falling channel. As you can see, the falling channel here, we are broken out of that. And we've talked about this for quite some time now. The weekly, and I'd said it if you look back in the videos in the past, we can pop out of this in the weekly and still close below it because the RSI follows the body of the candle, not the wicks. So depending on if we close out here, that's going to be a good sign, even though I believe we will come back down and test it in the RSI. So it's hard to judge what the price will be, but keep an eye on the RSI. Helps tremendously. If you guys don't do that, I suggest you do. All right, let's look at the daily. So we have this rising broadening wedge that we fell out of during our capitulation back here in March. We fell out of it about March 8th. But if we look at this bottom trend line, that looks like where we're headed now. And I'm going to move this over just a little bit. There we go. And we talked about this yesterday, coming up to retest this trend that's around that 10,180, and I personally expect a rejection there. If we do pass that, then yes, we could be headed to that 10.5. I did move my Fibonacci. Of course, I had my Fibonacci's down here for the swing high. Now the swing high, I moved up to this 10,100 area where we hit. If it does go up to the 10,175, we'll move it up again. But as you can see, these are the Fibonacci retracements in white. This first one here is the 0.236 retracement. Then we have the 7,700, which is a key area for me. I do believe we see at least this again. And then we have the 6981, which is the 0.5 fib. Then, of course, the all-famous 0.618 golden pocket zone right here is around the 6220 range. And then the 0.76 is around the 5200. This is a key area I am watching, the 6227 area for this retracement. Let's take a measured move. Now this is only if we don't come up and test that 10.5. This will all change if we pass this 10,180. But let's take a look at if we came across, we came down from here from this 10,180. Depending on where we fell out of this channel, if we fall out fairly quickly by the end of the month, that would get us right down to that 0.618 at about 6227. So this is the trend line I'm watching for that move here. And obviously, if we break this and go to 10.5, then this changes. If we break 10.5, that would be extremely, extremely bullish, guys. As you can see, we got major rejections the last two times we hit it. So keep an eye on that 10,180. If we look at the EMAs here, they are very bullish, but the 200 EMA, which is right here in the pink, and then the yellow one, the 55 EMA are looking to cross possibly this weekend, beginning of next week. That would be extremely bullish, but a lot of times when that happens, just like we'll go back. As you can see, when it happened here, we got a nice run. Right here was kind of a fake out. We got that peak and then it fell right back through. We never did get the cross here. And yeah, we'll see what happens there. But again, I'm looking for a retest of the bottom of this wedge, and that's going to be around 10,180. If that breaks, then we're looking to more upside. And what could the upside be if we pass the 10.5? Around $12,500 range, and that lines right up with this old peak back here. So keep an eye on that. We will That's why we do daily updates. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And when you do, even if you're subscribed, make sure you tick that bell and hit the all notification. You'll get notified when I post new videos. But as of right now, this is what I'm looking at, guys. And if we look at the volume, it is still in a decline here while within this formation, the rising channel. So also, I have another measured move here. If we measured this as a triangle that we broke out of, that gets us up to right at the 10.5. So that's a definite possibility, guys, but really keep an eye on that 10,180 area. Let's go into the RSI. So we were looking at the RSI on the daily, and we have this rising channel here, which we had a little bull trap or bear trap here. We were in a rise or a falling broadening wedge, which we popped out of, retested, and continued up. It does look like we are in a rising wedge formation. We have been watching this. If we make it back down to this area and break down, guys, that would be heading down towards that 62 area, in my opinion. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at as of right now in Bitcoin. Here's the 4 hour. Take a look at it a little bit closer. It does look like we are possibly going to get our push up to 10,187. If not, we'll most likely come back and test this trend line around 93, actually 9350 to 9400. I would look for at least a bounce there. If we break back through this trend line, then we are heading down towards the 8850 area, and then ultimately back down to the 0.236. Another thing I want to point out real quick, I'm going to, let's move this up. Let's put our Fibonacci retracement from the swing low. We'll go over here. The swing low back in 2018 to our run up to 14, or damn close to 14. And look at where we're at now. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. My apologies. From our swing high up at 14 to our recent swing low. Let me get this over here. And look at where we tagged. We tagged the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement perfectly. If we can get above this 10.5 area, you know, that's, like I said, that's extremely bullish. As of right now, I'm not convinced that we are going to do that. But again, that could change. For all the trolls out there that are like, oh, you've been bearish since blah, blah, blah. Yeah, in the long term, I am bearish because I'm still looking for these lower lows down here. If you watch the videos, I tell you both the bearish and the bullish case scenarios. If you pay attention, you would understand that. I do give you my opinion, but that's my opinion, not what's going to happen. But if you pay attention, you will see both the bullish and the bearish case scenario and points to watch for a break to get to the next target, whichever way it may decide. But as of breaking out of this wedge, like I said, could go as high as a 12.5, and then we'll go on from there, figure out what's going on. But this is a pretty steep run here, guys. If you look at this one, this is not even close to as steep, and look at the correction we had. So just to keep it in perspective, I'm not saying don't get bullish. I'm just saying I'm not getting bullish. I'm bullish for the super long term. Anyone that watches my channel knows that. I'm extremely bullish on Bitcoin. And another thing, I hold my Bitcoin. I do trade to accumulate more Bitcoin, but I hold my Bitcoin. So do I get upset when it goes up here? Not at all. I'm extremely happy when it goes up. I could care less which way it goes because I'll trade it either way, and I'm holding Bitcoin. So it doesn't matter to me, guys. Bitcoin's not going to zero. So anyways, let's go into LITECOIN now. Wait. First off, we need to take a look at the RSI here in the daily. The RSI, we have this rising wedge here. We did not come back down for a touch here. Another thing I wanted to point out, guys, let's go back to the daily and look at that RSI. Let me put it where you guys can see it. As you can see over here, our high over here and our high right here, we made a lower high so far. So far, if we break that 10.5, that changes everything. But as of right now, we are making bearish divergence. Excuse me. As you can see, hidden bearish divergence. As you can see, we made a higher high in the RSI and a lower high. This is on the daily. You can see it in the 4-hour too, but and a lower high on the price action. That's bearish. Let's go over to a 4-hour. You can see the same thing in the 4-hour, and you can actually see it right here. We're making a higher high in the RSI, lower high, or a lower high in the RSI over here, and a higher high here. Bearish, guys. Not to say we can't go up and hit our 10,180, and if that breaks, everything could change, like I said. But there is some major bearish divergence there. And another thing, if we take a look at, and this is bearish divergence right here, and then if we look at the daily, that's hidden bearish divergence. So look it up. There is a cheat sheet for it if you guys want to check it out. But again, we are in a rising wedge here. Looks like we still have room to move up a little bit, but it looks like we're going to come back down, break down here, and retest the bottom of this rising, which could get us down to around the $8,000 range, which would line up with this resistance back here, would become new supports. Keep that in mind, and let's look at Litecoin. Litecoin, we are above all the EMAs here. It looks like they started crossing bearish. I just have a measured move here of this falling wedge, which that's not a guarantee of what it is. But anyways, we're looking at around $53 if we break up and out of this. We do seem to be in a rising channel. Also within Litecoin, we have broken out of the rising channel in the RSI to the downside. I think we're most likely going to head down here. Let's look at the targets, both bullish and bearish. Like I said, 53 would be the target of the break up out of this. If we take a measured move of the channel and a break down from the channel, depending on where we break down, if we were to come straight down and capitulate right now, we could be going down to around the $30 range, which would be the 0.786 retracement from this swing low to this swing high here. The 0.618, which is more what I'm looking at, is around the $35 range. And that would be, you know, if we broke out way up here, we could travel sideways all the way into the end of May. We'll see what happens there. But if we were to break up and out of this, what would our target be? Right around the $65 to $66 range. We would also have the 0.618 retracement from this swing high to the swing low down here would get us to the 61.77. I would expect at least a rejection there. Not to say it would end. We may come back down and retest the top of this channel before continuing up. If we break up out of this wedge, guys. If not, I'm looking at these lower targets. Same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum actually broke back inside this rising channel. And Ethereum broke out of this falling wedge here, which the target on that I will put up here is around $233 range. So we could be looking at that for Ethereum. That would probably most likely happen if we hit the 10.5 in Bitcoin, which would also line up with this trend line off of these 3 wicks up top here. So keep an eye on that. And let's look at the pre-market. Oh, wait a minute. Let's look at the targets for Ethereum. This rising channel, if we were to break down out of this rising channel, depending on where we broke down out of it, 0.618 retracements around 142. 0.786 is around 120. And if we broke up, we're looking at, depending on where we would break up, but around a $300 Ethereum would be the target up there. But of course, we would have to break the 260, which, let me get that out of there. That's not even a target anymore, I don't believe. But anyways, yeah, I'd be looking for, and the 0.786 retracement of the swing high to swing low here is about 247. So I would expect major point of rejection there. Not saying that we can't come back down and break above it, but if we break this trend line, we could possibly get up to that 247, come back down, retest it. If it breaks, then obviously we go back bearish. If we get a nice bounce here, could be bullish. But as of right now, like I said, I'm still thinking we're pretty close to topped out on Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Let's take a look at the pre-market. Do a refresh, and again, we're getting a pump in the S&P, the Nasdaq, and the Dow. So will this continue or will we dump? And I do have a possible target of coming back up. And I guess if we looked at it on the daily, we could go as high as 25.7 and retest the 200 EMA there. But we are getting rejection at the 55 EMA and getting support at the 8 right now. So it's getting really tight here. I'll be curious to see what happens today. But I do have a measured move of this rising wedge, which the Dow is in and we did break out of. And that's around 20.3 thousand points for the Dow Jones Industrial. Let's go over to the 4-hour real quick. Same thing. This is why I had this target up here at around the 25.02, and actually I could put it all the way up to the 0.618 retracement of this fall here, which would be 25.2 range. Could go up to 0.65 even, which would make more sense, to 25, around 25.6. That's the highest I see us getting before coming back down to these lower lows. I do have lower targets that I still think we're going to hit. 17.2 is the first one. If that breaks, there's a much lower. You can check my previous videos to see what my targets are there. But that's where I'm at with it, guys. Hope everyone has a great day. Thanks for everything. I will leave some tutorials throughout the video. You may have seen them. If not, but I do have some promo codes for Bybit, Prime XBT, and DOW trading exchanges, which are all leverage exchanges. They all have different features. I do use them all. That's why I support them all, and the links are down below. I do get a small commission for you guys using my links, which helps support the channel, so check them out. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, leave your comments below, and have a great day. I'm out.